Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. I'm Jay Zawoski with Greg Boyson and Mario Tirabassi. Hope you're enjoying your Tuesday. It is or it was pouring rain down here in the West Loop, but we're inside. We're cool. The air conditioning is working-ish. So, happy to be here. We got some stuff to get to today. We got to wrap up our leftover mailbag questions. Boy, we had a ton yesterday, so we're going to get to all the questions that were sent in. A little bit of a news broke, not really as it pertains to the Hawks, but we found out that Milan Lucic and the Hawks were negotiating and talking before he ultimately signed up with the Bruins. We're going to get to that. But before we do, make sure you smash that like button on YouTube for us. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Also, if you're a podcast listener, make sure you are following or subscribed there too. We're going to tell you later on in the show about some great events we have coming up very, very soon. You're going to want to be a part of the CHGO Kickoff Classic Golf Outing and the CHGO Crosstown Series Takeovers. We'll tell you about those later in the show. But first, fellas, I was perusing the internet late at night, as one does, and I saw a quote from the Drop in the Gloves podcast Twitter account, which is John Scott's. That is his podcast.
Usually, when you drop in a tweet or a link from John Scott's podcast to our text chain, usually rage bait for us.
Yeah.
But this one actually was a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did induce a little bit of rage, though.
A little bit.
Yeah. So I like John Scott. For the record, did a couple events with him, and he was a super
John
nice
Scott's
guy.
a great guy. I just don't agree with most of his hockey thoughts.
Yeah. Well,
You can like someone and disagree with them in the same.
No, that's not
It's
possible.
legal.
No.
You
Nope.
can actually do it.
Not in this day and age.
can't. So Lucic was on. He was a guest. And right off the bat, they got right into, how many teams were interested. And Lucic actually took some time out to isolate on the Hawks. And he said, quote, "One of the teams I talked to the most was the Chicago Blackhawks. I talked to them a lot. They were one of the first teams, if not the first team, to reach out. It's a great city, original six team. That's something that gravitated me towards going to a place like that, getting the chance to play for an original six team again. That's why I had some lengthy conversations with Kyle Davidson and Luke Richardson. I went with my heart and where it all started and wanted to go back to being a Boston Bruin again." So it's interesting as we were kind of evaluating where the Hawks were going to go this offseason. And, we heard about speed and how if you can't skate, you're not a Blackhawk. But it sounds like Milan Lucic is one of the guys the Hawks were looking at. And it kind of makes me think about Kyle Davidson's philosophy in general, right? Like, would this be just another stopgap kind of a guy like Corey Perry ended up being and Nick Foligno ended up being and Ryan Donato ended up being? All those guys, in my mind, are better players at this point in their careers than Milan Lucic is. I wonder if Lucic would have prevented the Perry thing from happening. I don't really know. I know that happened before free agency, but they probably had a pretty good indication of what was going to happen with Lucic. It's just interesting. Maybe he was just another short-term guy, but it does feel like, at the very least, Davidson and his staff believe that there is a little bit of protection needed for your young stars. And, of course, Connor Bedard at the top of the list.
Yeah, they definitely need some people to keep the flies off, as the old hockey term goes. So I'm hoping it was Milan Lucic or Corey Perry.
Yeah.
They were
That's
just
my hope, too.
keeping the and I really hope that the $4 million that they gave the Corey Perry was not offered to Milan Lucic, because Corey Perry has more left in the tank to me than Milan Lucic. He's always been the better player and still the better player, even as they're both heading into the twilight of their careers. But Corey Perry, his first year in Tampa, so we're talking the 2021 season, 19 goals, 40 points, playing bottom 6 minutes, still productive. Milan Lucic hasn't scored over 10 goals in a season since 2016, 2017.
It's been a while.
And he hasn't eclipsed 23 points since that season either. He's bad and is a plug.
Yeah, I think his skills peaked very early, and then the only thing that's kind of kept him going is the fact that he's a monstrous, physical, and will punch you. Yeah,
but you could get guys like that could also
get a lot of guys like that.
But you could also find a few guys like that may actually score a goal every once in a while.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing the $4 million was not offered to Lucic? Because why would he take $1 million to go back to Boston? I mean, even granted, yes, that's where he played. He won a Stanley Cup there. They love him there. But come on, why would you say no to $4 million and take $1 million?
Well, I mean, and like you said, Corey Perry, if that's what you were going for, is a guy like that, he's much more valuable simply because you can put him on the power play.
Yeah.
And he can do something. Half his points last year came on the power play. He had 12 goals total, 6 power play goals. Assists, he had 13 total, and he had 6 assists on the power play. So
he can still shoot.
He can still get in front of the net. He's still willing to deflect pucks and pay the price in front. Like, that makes him, just that alone, a more valuable asset than Lucic would have been.
Yeah, I mean, the role that I think that they both would have been brought here to fill is, some protection in the lineup. I think Corey Perry can do that, like you said, Greg. Like, he can do that and a little bit more compared to Milan Lucic. I really do hope it was a choice between the two of them.
Yeah.
From Kyle Davidson, and when you look at it here, this information from Hockey Reference, Corey Perry and Milan Lucic, 2019-2020 to this past season. So like the last 4 seasons combined. Other than games played, in every category, Corey Perry has the advantage. Goals, assists, points, plus minus, penalty minutes, power play goals, game-winning goals, shots on goals, and point share per game. Like it's the choice of who can we fill this role and also get something out of, and likely also flip it. You're not flipping Milan Lucic at the deadline.
No,
you're not,
because no one's fortifying your playoff roster with him.
No,
somebody would have traded for him last deadline,
right? And if a team is feeling like they need to push into the playoffs and they're a Milan Lucic away,
what team is that ever in history?
That's never happened.
You know what I mean?
It's never happened. There's never been a team that
Not
says
this
we need a guy
Milan
who's gonna get into a fight in the playoffs. Yeah. We don't need
2011 Milan Lucic. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not 2023 Milan Lucic.
Yeah. So yeah,
I think
Corey Perry is that guy that can be flippable.
And Lucic is a name that we've mentioned on the show before, but that was in the context of somebody needs to move a big salary ahead of the deadline.
Yeah.
Then the Hawks can take that on, right?
Right. And that was to get him away from a contending team so they could spend money more.
Right. And that also involved the Hawks getting another asset. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, we'll take Milan Lucic's salary cap hit off your hands, but you got to give us a second round pick or something like that. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it was either or. Bless you. It was either Corey Perry or Milan Lucic. So they were just, making sure they had all their bases covered, not relying on the fact that Corey Perry, was going to sign here, making sure they had a backup plan. And if Lucic is saying that he had conversations with Luke Richardson as well, it sounds like Luke Richardson has become a very good recruiting tool already.
Yeah.
Like it was one of the reasons Max Domi signed here last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the reasons Corey Perry decided to sign here this year. I mean, there were 4 million other reasons to sign here, but
he's got a history with the Foligno family.
Yeah. So, and it also tells me that Kyle Davidson is also listening to what Luke Richardson wants on this roster. Corey Perry is a Luke Richardson guy. Jared Tenorti is a Luke Richardson guy. So if this partnership is going to last for a long time, and Luke Richardson truly is the coach for beyond the rebuild and to lead this team back to Stanley Cup contention, which after one season, I have no reason to doubt that. It also helps that the GM and the coach work hand in hand. They share the vision. Kyle Davidson can say, yeah, okay, who do you want on this team? What are we missing? And he goes out and gets it because, as we know, in the last Stanley Cup run, there was a lot of butting heads between GM and head coach.
Yeah.
There was a specific type of player the GM wanted. There was a specific type of player that the coach wanted, and they never seemed to meet in the middle very often. But when they did, it was kind of like condescending and it was just those two didn't. If they weren't winning Stanley Cups, that relationship would have ended a long time before that.
I mean, that's the Dale Weiss for Philip Deneau trade.
Mm-hmm.
That's
worst trade ever.
That's Q wanted veteran grit, And they got it, and Dale Weiss and Thomas Fleischman. And
they got veterans something that rhymes with grit, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it was awful. So, like, I have full trust in Luke Richardson based on what he did last year, but I do think it's interesting. Like, there is that fine line of giving the coach too much of what they want because, and I don't think Luke is some old school meathead by any means, but the names we've seen him, Lucic, Perry, in 2-3 years when it's time to win again, I don't want roster spots taken up by guys like that.
No.
So that's kind of what I'm saying is Luke and or Kyle looking at a competing roster is something that needs to have a guy like that on it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know yet. We don't know the answer to that. It's hard to really make that decision based on this team or last year's team. But, the fact that he was after Lucic, the fact that he got Perry, it shows that he does have at least a little bit of space for that on his roster.
Yeah.
So we'll see if it's something they do moving forward.
I think based on the prospects that we have coming up, you may need a guy like that, but you might not. You're not going to need a ton of it. I mean, you still need a bigger guy, a guy that can, be physical, but you don't need an entire bottom 6 of those guys.
No.
1 or 2 of those guys. And based on some of the prospects they got coming up, they still may need it. Guys like Frank Nazar and Aiden Thompson and Oliver Moore, they're speed skill guys.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that those guys won't mix it up when they have to, but that's not where they excel. But you do have guys like your guy Samuel Savoy coming up. Savoy, he's coming up. He's definitely a agitator.
Yep.
I think
Not big, but an agitator.
right. He fills your Andrew Shaw role from those teams. You got, if Marcel, God, I hope he makes it to the NHL. He's a big dude that is going to, as he told us, will punch people in the face.
Yeah, and Milton Oscarson's a big dude too.
Yeah.
I mean, these are late round picks, of course.
Yeah.
So
We still got our Tahula guy from Finland.
Yeah, Riku Tohila.
The 6'10" center.
It's just so naive.
If he sucks, they could just ship him over to the Bulls.
Yeah, right. Yeah, pick up a basketball and
they give
figure
him
it out.
Larry Markkanen's old jersey.
there you go.
Yeah.
But
And I think too, as far as size goes, like even just this last draft class, the first, the third pick of the class was a goalie, but first 3-4 picks were more skill, smaller guys. But then in those late rounds, you saw like Alex Ferran's a big guy. Martin Myziak has got good size. And then you look at some of the younger guys that are coming up now, like Colton Dock's a big body, Ethan Del Mastro's a big body, Nolan Allen's a big, so they'll have those big body players, those more sizable guys that have that skill set along with them. It's not necessarily like you're just looking for bowling balls out there. Like you have some guys that can go out there, put up some points, play some specific roles, and also are big and can lay hits and be physical that way.
I'm willing to bet Colton Dock has got an agitator side to him.
Oh yeah.
I bet you he takes on that more of that role as he becomes a pro.
Yeah.
We've talked about young kids in the past where we've talked a lot about Mackenzie Entwistle, how he completely had to change his game to survive in the AHL, NHL level.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Colton Dock has got more offensive upside than Mackenzie Entwistle had at this point of his career, but I could see Colton Dock kind of developing that little mean streak in him, not like going full Brad Marchand, but
a little bit of an edge.
Maybe that Max Domi type player.
He's been more of the go-to guy at the junior level offensively, and I think adding that edge at the professional level will probably benefit him moving forward. Because if
everybody was the go-to,
yeah, because if he's going to rely
AHL.
on just being the go-to guy, the shooter, the scorer, the offensive guy, I don't know if he's got that tier of skill to where that's the only thing that can carry him forward. I think he'll probably add that, and then I feel like he's kind of got a little bit of that personality where he can tap into that, because that's one of those things where especially a guy like Savoy, like you talk about with the prospect system, he fits that role. Like that role is him. That's his personality. That being an agitator, being a pest, being a guy that can try and get under an opponent's skin, you can't teach that.
No.
Like you can't say go out and be Brad Marchand. Like a player that doesn't have that ability, it's not going to work. It'll only take themselves out of their own game.
Yeah, it's a personality thing.
Yeah.
Usually those guys are pretty funny off the ice, or they're quick, they talk shit, they're like they're kind of
like,
ball busters.
Like you can't
make Adam Boquist a pest.
No, you can't just turn a player into Ryan Reeves. Like Ryan Reeves is who he is.
Right.
That's a good comparison by our friend Windy City Hockey. Colton Dock reminds me of Ryan Hartman a little. I could see that a bit. Like if he plays, if he develops into a Ryan Hartman type of game, I think that will suit him better. That'll help his likelihood of not only reaching the NHL but sustaining.
I feel like even Ryan Hartman as a prospect had that like mentality and that personality where I don't know if we've seen that at the prospect level yet from Doc, but maybe he could add that element to that level.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because someone does that to emerge, and we talk about it all the time. Like something John Scott told me is at some point in their career, everybody in the NHL was the best player on their team.
Yeah.
And it's those guys who figure out, like, all right, this is not going to be my future in the league, like you mentioned with Mackenzie Entwistle. So if I'm going to survive here, I have to adapt. And Colton Dock is probably not a top 6 forward on a contender. But a guy with that sort of size, with that sort of skill set, if he's willing to add that dimension, again, it doesn't have to be pest, agitator, shit talker. It's go finish a check, go win a puck go win a board battle. Like you can annoy
drive the net and score off a rebound while getting cross-checked in the
exactly.
ribs,
Yeah, and being willing to play that kind of a game will go a long way. And to me, that's like if I'm going through the list of Hawks prospects, that's the guy who seems the most likely, based on skill set, size, pedigree, all those things, that could take that role on. And just talking to him when we had him on the show, and then development camp. He seems like a pretty intelligent kid, like thoughtful. I don't say says the right thing is the wrong thing to say, but you could tell he puts thought into his answers. He's not just a cliche machine. So that to me indicates
like he could be a big time chirper on the ice.
Yeah, he's very confident.
Yeah,
which is great. I mean, that's what his brother lacked a little bit.
Say the exact opposite of his brother.
Yeah. So, hey, man, that's you're the little brother competing against your big brother your whole life. You got to learn to survive, and
you can't tell me as being the little brother he wouldn't want to make it as a success here and be like, I made it in Chicago. What did you do?
Right.
You got traded. They love me here.
Yeah, exactly. So that'll be interesting. There's a lot of I think you could also look like Ludwinski is that kind of a player, and Ryan Green is like a bigger sort of a forward. So there are options, but it's just who are going to be the guys who accept that role. And I think like with Ryan Hartman, it was a good comp, but like early in his career, I think he felt like he was going to be more of a top 6 type.
Yeah.
Right. And then when he figured out he wasn't, that's when his game came around. It took like that sort of third team, second team for him to say, okay, I guess I'm not going to be a superstar in this league, but what can I do to make a name for myself and to be a difference maker? And he figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And being on a line with Kirill Kaprizov.
That helps too.
That didn't hurt.
Yeah, that helped.
That definitely padded the old stat column. But yeah, I think going forward, there's always a spot for one, like the Milan Lucic, Corey Perry type. There's always a spot on a team, especially a contender. The key is using them in their proper role.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I trust Luke Richardson will do that going forward. Like, how many times do we have, we got Daniel Carcillo and he's on the top line, or there's Brandon Bolig playing in the top 6.
Right.
Like, it's okay to have those guys when you use them, put them in a position to succeed.
Yeah.
So don't have this team ready to contend for a playoff spot and bring in a Corey Perry type in 4 years and have him play on the top line.
Right.
Put him in the bottom 6, put him in the 4th line, your PK where he can excel, and I'm fine with all of that.
Yeah. As much as we talked about last season, how each player had their role, and that helped everyone kind of pulling the rope in the same direction. You're gonna need that when you have a contending team. You're gonna need your scorers to step up and produce points, and you're gonna need your forecheckers and penalty killers to play those roles. And yeah, like asking a guy who's more of a a 4th line player, grinder player, someone that's going to give you a lot of heart and soul and energy, but can't really produce. Don't expect them to play with Connor Bedard and then produce. Like the Blackhawks tried it with Patrick Kane. Like, just put whoever with Patrick Kane and it'll work. It won't work. You gotta have the right chemistry and the right makeup of a team to find the right pieces and put them in the right place.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, we got a bunch of mailbag questions to get to, and we're going to do that here in a second. But first, I want to tell you about my alma mater, Lewis University. Students are just like you, with full-time jobs, families, and full-time sports fandoms. If you want to go back to school to earn a respected degree, do it at Lewis University. It's 35 miles southwest of Chicago in Romeoville and is ranked as one of U.S. News and World Report's top-tier colleges. Lewis partners with numerous employers for tuition discounts and offers evening, online, and blended formats to help you balance work, family, and education. Their faculty brings real-world experience and instruction to the classroom, which is immediately relevant to your career. And they offer career support and academic resources for adult students. And I'll say this, is sort of editorializing their alumni. I can always reach out and get help from Lewis, even, many, many years after graduating. Lewis offers several career-focused programs that will set you up for success. And the grad programs are outstanding. The criminal justice, public safety, data science, computer science. That's an 8-week session. It can be completed in 1 year with concentrations in software engineering, AI, cybersecurity, digital forensics, enterprise, and cloud computing. And you've got your adult undergrads as well, computer science, aviation maintenance technology certificates, business analytics, criminal justice, business programs, tech programs. Discover how a degree from Lewis can help you build a better world. Learn more at lewisu.edu/you-can-do-this.
You can do this.
Look good in the old red and black there,
Yes.
Mario.
Dude, red and black are good colors for me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's why I'm here. Hey, speaking of college, beer.
Yes.
Beer is fun sometimes, in moderation, of course. And what's better than just any beer? A Goose Island beer. Yes, I hope those geese are staying dry as it is pouring rain out there. But CHGO is proudly supported by Goose Island Beer Company as the beer sponsor for us here. They have been Chicago's beer since 1988. And when we talk about roster construction and every player playing the role so that you can ultimately achieve your goal, well, every beer in Goose Island's roster plays their role. You got the Goose IPA, the 6-time medal winner at the Great American Beer Fest, which is always in style with a citrus aroma and bold hop finish. You got the Tropical Beer Hug, the dry-hopped Imperial IPA, which is a 9.9 ABV. That's kind of like a Corey Perry drink, right?
Yes.
Plays a little heavy, gets the job done.
Pesky.
You got the Full Pocket Pills, the everyday beer. It's what the Goose Island beer brewers are drinking. And, of course, you got the 312, the Golden Can, the staple of the Goose Island beer roster. You can grab ultra-fresh brewery-exclusive beers at Goose Island's original brew house on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or you can go to their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. That's in our neck of the woods. And you can get, all those great beers from Goose Island there. Again, that is the Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer.
And you'll be able to get some great beers, some Goose Island beers at the CHGO Kickoff Classic presented by the Big Drive Energy Podcast. That's Friday, August 25th at Cog Hill. I still can't believe they're letting us play at Cog Hill. That is a massive mistake by the people at Cog Hill.
One and only time, probably.
Yeah, that'll be the first and last.
I can't wait to see where it's going to be next year.
Yeah, join us, though. It's going to be an awesome time. Get there while you can. Again, August 25th. You can sign up as an individual, a twosome, or a foursome. Diehards, of course, you will save. If you're a diehard and you want to go to the Kickoff Classic Golf Tournament, email events@allcitynetwork.com, and they'll give you your discount code for the tournament. Your entry fee includes 18 holes, again, at Cog Hill with a cart, exclusive Pins and Aces tee gift for every player,
Nice.
access to limited edition pins and Aces CHGO polo,
Yep.
hole contests, great giveaways and prizes for contest holes, winning teams, and the last place team, so I have a chance, lunch, drinks, and a ceremony after the round.
Oh, man.
Check it out. Individual hole and tournament sponsorships are available as well. Go to allchgo.com, go to the events tab, click down the first option there to CHGO Kickoff Classic Golf Tournament to find all your info and links in there. It's going to be an awesome time. We're all going to be there. Cannot wait.
Yeah, and as someone who has in the past looked up tee times for Cog Hill before, the price of admission to this event will pay for your tee time. Everything else is gravy on top of it. It's such a tremendous deal. for the CHGO sports fan, the Chicago sports fan in you that is also a golfer or just likes to get out on the golf course, maybe just get out in the sunshine, fresh air, have a couple Goose Islands, have a good time. That's basically what golf is about. It's more about having a fun time than it is actually, getting the ball in the hole in as few strokes as possible.
Good.
Yes.
Because I'm not good at that.
That's my attitude.
Nice. Yeah, I've always said I want to be a good enough golfer to not annoy the people I'm golfing with.
Yeah.
I think I'm right there.
It's good. It's good. It's
All right.
Good benchmark to clear.
We've got several leftover questions from yesterday's show.
Yeah, we had a hefty
we're a
mailbag.
little behind on our questions because we did spend the first, 20 minutes or so talking about the Alex DeBrincat trade. So if you're here looking for our info there, when this show's over, go back, listen to Monday's show, and you'll hear a good 20-25 minutes on the DeBrincat trade.
Mm-hmm. New
Detroit Red Wing, Alex DeBrincat. Ugh.
Wearing number 93.
Fart noises.
That sounds yucky. 93.
Yeah. Last worn by Johan Franzen.
Yeah.
Well, 12 is retired.
Yeah,
Yes.
And 21 is used. So.
93, is that the year he was born? No, he's not
No.
born that year.
No. He was born in what, 97? I can't remember.
To the internet.
Yeah. Anyways.
It's not important. He's way
Oh,
younger.
now I have
He's
to
a
know.
Red Wing now.
Yeah, he's a Red Wing.
We
Who
don't-
cares?
We don't need to worry
He's
about
dead
that.
now.
1997 he was born.
97. Okay, there you go.
Junior year of high school.
All right. You want to read the question, Sarah? We love new voices. People are sick of us.
Absolutely.
Nice.
All right, so our first question is from Rain and is, what are each of your guys' top 3 favorite hockey movies?
I got my 3.
I mean, there's only like 6 to choose from.
Yeah, there's not a ton. There's not a ton.
It's not robust, but there are some good ones out there.
I think we can all probably say Slapshot across the board.
I think
That is
Slapshot
on my list,
is
yes.
the best.
Okay.
Yes.
I just watched that the other last weekend. My significant other had never seen it. We saw it on Netflix. I put it on.
There you go.
Some problematic things in it that didn't age too
Yeah.
well, but still got.
Well, yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's a movie made in the 70s.
Yes, and
Yes.
she and my girlfriend Stacy says that really wasn't that good of a movie. I'm like, I never said it was a good movie. I just said it's got great lines.
Also, it is a movie that gets better as you watch it because a lot of the funniest lines are little sort of nuanced things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my favorite scene in the movie is the Charlestown Chiefs are at the bar and Paul Newman's just sitting there talking and some guy's like, "Hey man, you got to get the power play going." And he just gives him the most dismissive, like, "Yeah, okay, whatever you say, pal." Like it's just so well done. It's such a small little thing in that movie, but yeah, I think Slapshot. Also, Slapshot like set the table for Major League and
Yeah.
all those sort of slapsticky, silly sports movies. Slapshot was the first one to do it.
Slapshot was before Caddyshack, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
77, yeah.
And I think the shock Stacy had the most was like, oh my God, Paul Newman is swearing a lot. Like that's
Yeah.
something you're used to if you've seen most of his movies. But yeah, Slapshot is up there.
I have a question because I honestly don't know a lot of hockey movies, but does this count as one of my favorite hockey movies? Is the Christmas movie Jack Frost?
Yeah, there's a lot
Is
of
there a
hockey.
hockey
was gonna say,
scene?
that's-
I've never seen it.
I've never
There's-
Well,
seen
it's
that
because
one.
it's
the
a
little
lot of
boy,
hockey,
and
yeah.
it's the dad's the snowman, and he's teaching his dad how to play hockey because
Oh,
it's
definitely a
actually
hockey
really
movie then.
yeah. And then
It's
the kid like
definitely
for sure a
rejoin-
hockey movie.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite hockey movie.
That's like that debate: is Happy Gilmore hockey or golf?
It's a golf.
That's a
movie.
golf movie.
It's a golf movie.
Yeah.
I side on golf movie. There's a lot of hockey in it though.
All right. What about second and third? My second is very easy. I love Youngblood. Youngblood is great. Rob Lowe. It is. I showed my daughter
His
loves
youth.
Rob Lowe because she loves Parks and Rec. And I showed her, like, you ever seen young Rob Lowe, Addie? She goes, no. And I showed her, and she turned as red as that towel. I'm like, yeah, that's Rob Lowe. Rob Lowe in the 80s got it done.
Yeah.
Before the hotel room in Atlanta.
Yeah. And Eric Nestorenko plays his
Yeah.
father in that
Yeah.
movie, like teaches him how to fight.
Keanu Reeves
Patrick
is in
Swayze.
Keanu Reeves, Patrick Swayze.
Steve Thomas is in that
Yeah.
and is like an extra. Blackhawks legend.
Yeah,
Steve
I
Thomas.
think Youngblood is in my top 3. I think I have it at 3.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Youngblood missed me. I have seen it though, but it missed gripping me. The hockey movie that gripped me the most as a kid was Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
Early 90s, like that was right in my wheelhouse. Still one of my favorite. I would put that in my favorite sports movies list.
Okay.
Not just hockey.
I ruined Mighty Ducks going back and watching it as an adult.
Why?
I mean, because
It just didn't stand up to you.
it didn't. It was like I loved it as like a 14, 15-year-old, and then I watched it as like a 35-year-old. I was like, that's kind of stupid. Like, I should have just left this alone. Like, I should have just left it in my head as what it was.
Yeah.
But the first one is still good. I don't know if it needed all those extra ones.
The first one is the best of the three. I
don't know if I've ever seen the third one. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Third one is when they go to like a prep school.
Yeah, I think I missed that. By that point, I had aged out of the Mighty Ducks thing.
You'd have been in your.
I was like, no chance of nudity. I'm out. I'm not watching this.
no nudity in the Mighty Ducks.
I was at that age.
There is nudity though in.
You mentioned
Slapshot.
the thing that shocked Stacy about Slapshot. The thing that surprised me about Slapshot was finding out that the naked woman in that movie was Ralphie's mother from Christmas Story.
That traumatized me. The first time I realized who it was, because I'd probably seen it 3 or 4 times and it just was like some random actress, and then I connected the dots and was like, oh no.
Whoops.
Yeah, I had a different feeling than that, but it was a feeling of shock. That's for sure.
Well, it definitely changed the way I watch Christmas Story.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stop the conversation there because there's a couple ways I can go that I'm not gonna because I'm an adult.
I'll bring it back to the PG range. My third movie is Miracle. I really like that movie. Obviously, it is very Americanized for that
propaganda film.
It basically is. It's Disney American propaganda. But I really like it. If anyone ever wants to watch Miracle, like on a team bus, down to a game, put on Miracle. I'm totally fine with
That's my number 2 movie. That's my number 2. I love that movie. I know it's got a lot of historic inaccuracies in it, and
it plays it up.
But it's a great movie, and some of those scenes, like the whole Bagskate scene, is great. Again, and, yelling.
Who do you play for?
Yelling at the guy to turn the lights back on. Like it's a great movie. It's one of those very few that are like only about hockey movies. I would think, my honorable mention is Mystery Alaska. I enjoy
Mystery Alaska.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
It's a good one.
It's not the greatest acting because I feel like they had to hire a bunch of hockey players to like fill the roles, but Mike Myers in that is really funny. Is like kind of a Don Cherry-ish character.
Yeah.
Like a Don Melrose, I guess you would call that character.
That's a good.
There's good hockey scenes in it. Burt Reynolds is in it.
Yeah.
Like it's
underrated for sure.
I'm gonna go with the greatest hockey movie ever made is Most Valuable Primate. That's just a classic. I don't know if you could ever top a monkey playing hockey, but no. I'm gonna put Mystery Alaska over Miracle.
Okay.
I just feel like it's so it is so Disney-fied.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
And where are you guys at on Goon?
I never saw it.
I saw it. I can see why a certain section of hockey fans really like it.
Yeah.
It was fine. It's not at the top of my list.
I gotta see it again.
I've never seen it. Again, I think I aged out of that movie. Like when it came out, I was like, okay, I'm over the American Pie thing. So should so should what's his face? Like is he gonna be playing Stifler till he's 50?
That's it. There's a period in my life
sad.
where I need no more Stifler in my life.
Yeah.
But then he was in Role Models, which was really good too. So anyway, I gotta watch Goon again. Can I count does Shoresy season 1 count? I love Shoresy. I like Shoresy better than Letterkenny.
As a show, yeah. I mean, it's a hockey show for sure.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, that went long. Go ahead, Sarah.
All right. Do you think the Blackhawks trade for Matt Murray? And what else do the Leafs have to give up to shed that contract? If the Leafs keep Murray, I don't know why I keep doing Murray. How on earth are they going to be the cap compliant by opening night?
Well, to answer the second part of that first, don't care.
This is from.
They're only $9 million over the cap.
Ben.
The Blackhawks should not.
If they were going to do it, they'd have done it. I think
you can't bail them out with bad goalie contracts 2 years in a row.
Yeah, and it's a horrible look for Montreal or for Toronto.
Hey, they've got their first this year.
Yeah, but
if they want to give up a first plus, the Hawks say okay.
They might get out of money in a different way with all the villainizing of William Nylander that's going on.
Yeah, the smear campaign.
Yeah. So I that is an interesting tire fire to watch from afar. Is the eventual downfall of the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's fascinating. We talked about it. What was it, last week?
Yeah.
Pretty in depth about their whole situation, but they're going to need to shed a lot of money.
And no one has taken Matt Murray without getting something juicy and with it. And everybody knows.
Because they know,
how many times it's going to be Teuvo Teravainen to get rid of Brian Bickle's contract. Because everybody knows, he who shall not be named painted himself into that corner numerous times, and it cost him. And it didn't take Brad Tree-Living very long to paint himself in a corner there, because he had to have both Todd Bertuzzi and Max Domi as opposed to just one of those guys.
Tyler Bertuzzi.
Sure.
I thought you were going to say Todd Bertuzzi and Ty Domi. I was like,
so I got one of them right.
This
is what happened.
That's
turning the clock back.
My brain is still stuck in the 90s.
Yeah.
It just always is.
Why not? It was a good place to be.
Whatever. The last name's Bertuzzi. He sucks.
Yeah.
I don't care what the first name is.
There you go. All right, what else we got, Sarah?
All right, we got a personal journey. I'm curious about your CHGO journey. When you look back on the last year, plus what has the journey been like for each of you? From the Kyle Beach scandal to the tank season to Connor Bedard, what has it been like for the three of you?
All right, here goes the last 20 minutes of the show.
I was going to say, that's a deep question.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it all in the lead up to the draft, how basically when we launched, the focus was the Blackhawks are going to go into a tank mode. We didn't know exactly what it was going to entail, but it was all for the goal of restarting the franchise and hopefully restarting it with Connor Bedard. And now we're here. That achievement has been checked off of the list, and I think going through all the off ice things. That's definitely something that hangs over the Blackhawks still. But I think through last season, we've all kind of got through it. I think landing Bedard and realizing that the upswing for the team can be coming quickly, I think has kind of for Blackhawks fans eased a lot of stress, anxiety, tension, things like that. So, and to have done it with you guys with CHGO, I think is incredible. I don't want to do anything else in career wise. I don't want to do anything else but this. I'm not qualified to do anything else but this. So
the world needs ditch takers too.
Yeah, I'll work on the lumberyard. I think what we're building here, what we've built, what we've experienced, what we've gone through, the CHGO community that is growing, it's incredible. So I'm happy to be here with you guys, with the whole crew working with CHGO, and I'm looking forward to the next season. It's gonna be even better.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. I'm super excited about what we've built through one full season and where we're headed, just as a show and as a company. A lot of people last year were like, "Oh man, how do you watch this team every night?" And it's like, well, it's what I've wanted to do for the longest time. Plus, we really got. It was a bad season, but we got so many cool moments. Being there for the Stanley Cup banner raising in Denver.
Yep.
We got to see Alex Ovechkin score a hat trick become the third person to ever score 800 goals. That's history.
That's huge.
We got to see that. Jonathan Taves' last game as a Blackhawk, probably last game in the NHL. And, he almost scores that goal in overtime. That Kane's last game where he probably, he did score, but it didn't count. Craziness. So many cool moments. Marian Hossa's jersey retirement.
Yeah. Marian Hossa's sitting here with us.
Yes. I mean, that was awesome. Marian Hossa's jersey retirement was also on the same night. Malkin, what was that, his 1,000th game? or
1,000th game? Yeah, I think so.
They all did the stretch routine together on the ice.
Yeah, that's right.
We got to see a lot of cool moments. We got to cover the draft together. I think I could speak for all three of us when I say that we've grown professionally. We've gotten better at what we do. We've built really good chemistry over the past year and a half, and just the audience is getting bigger and bigger, and it's going to continue to rise as this team gets better. And now, I mean, I get paid to watch Connor Bedard play hockey.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I got nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
I gotta say too, like echoing what all you guys said. Of course, like I agree with all of it, but like there was a point where I was leaving the Score. I was starting my new job at WBBM, and the Kyle Beach scandal was kind of like in full blast at that point. And depending on what had happened, I was kind of ready to walk away from doing a hockey podcast anymore, because I was just like, I started a new part of my life. This is not going to pan out for me career-wise. I've already written a book. I've had all my moments at the Score when they were winning cups, but now the arrow's pointed down. Interest is at an all-time low. Maybe I need to just kind of give up this dream and move on. And I was very ready to do that, and had he Oceanapi not resigned, we all know what that actually was, and all the fallout around it gone that way, I might have walked away. And because it was just, I didn't want to talk about it anymore because I was so infuriated by what had happened. But the organization did what they could do, short of firing the owner, which you can't do. So I was kind of back, and then all of a sudden I get a call from Brandon, like, holy cow, this is not dead.
Yeah. And
especially the timing of it, where the Hawks were as dead as they've ever been for this opportunity to come. It was a huge, huge leap for me, because I had just gotten promoted at Odyssey for the first time in 20 years, and I was all settled in, thought this was going to be the next 20 years of my career, and I'm just glad I answered the phone.
Yep.
And I told Rick on the MFAT podcast this week that all the management clothes I have are gone. I don't want to go back to that.
Yeah.
Like I got rid of all my button downs and khakis. Like, I don't need that. I don't need them anymore. I got my 3 pair I got for our draft trip, and I'm good to go. I want to be here until the day I retire.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's great. And like you said, Greg, like we are now getting paid to watch Connor Bedard. And I think when you saw our reactions when the Hawks won the draft lottery, yes, it was excitement that the Hawks are going to be relevant again, but holy shit, for the three of us professionally, it's massive. It's massive. And we've seen, like Greg said, like the numbers have gone up and up, especially since winning that draft lottery. The interest in the Hawks is back. It's not like it was during the 3 cup runs, but it's on its way. And as soon as Connor Bedard gets on the evening news and YouTubes and TikToks and everything of some crazy goal he scores, they're going to be back in a big way, and we're going to be right in the middle of it. And if you missed the latest episode of Every Shift that came out Sunday, we're all over that video. Yeah. We're every piece of analysis that you hear from like disembodied audio, that's one of the 3 of us doing it. And it's
someone with the Blackhawks editing team was scouring through our podcasts a lot.
Appreciate it.
Hey,
So yeah,
it also helps to be the only show in town when on draft lottery night and draft night, when you're the only live podcast talking about the Blackhawks.
Yep.
They're going to listen.
Throw a little bug up there next time, though.
Yeah, a little
courtesy of CHGO.
That'd be
Blackhawks.
great.
That'd be good.
That'd be good.
We'll work it out with the right channels.
Yeah. That'd be helpful, though.
I did want to share as part of the story of the journey for us and at CHGO, and I don't know if I've said this on the show before, but when this was all started, but this was launched in March of 2022. In February, I was working for Bleacher Nation with their Blackhawks coverage, and I got a Twitter DM from Jay, and we had interacted a few times before. We knew each other. We knew of each other in a little ways, but you reached out to me and you said, like, hey, if this guy Brandon calls you, take his call. And I was like, all right, that's weird. Like, I guess I'll do it. And yeah, so I ended up, when I was talking with Brandon, as he was going through the spiel of what he wanted CHGO to be and the Blackhawks coverage and everything, and he was like, I got some guys, some other people that are going to be involved in it. Jay Zawaski being Greg Boyson. I was just like, yeah. I was just so caught off guard because I was like, this sounds like exactly what I want to do forever, and with people that I would trust to do it. Like it was just such a interesting, like, it all happened in like one night where it was just like, you reached out and then Brandon called And I got off the phone.
It
I was
happened
talking.
so fast.
I was talking with my wife. I was just like, "Is this real? Like, did that all just happen? Like, it was such a weird
I
experience."
literally signed my contract with CHGO in the press box at Allstate Arena covering a Chicago Wolves Rockford Ice Halls game. Like, I had no idea what was going on in the game because I spent the first period and a half talking to Brandon and finalizing this deal. It was just like,
That's awesome.
okay, cool.
Yeah, when he first called me, I had COVID, and I was kind of like, I think when you work in media as long as I did, you get a lot of like, hey, I got a great opportunity for you. I get those all the time. And I was like, all right, okay, yeah, like I'm not feeling great. Let's catch up next week. And he was persistent, and I'm so glad he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and that was tough. That was a very tough decision, because there have been things in this town that launched and then very quickly failed. And I had a lot of friends as victims of that, like Webbio and 92.9 the game, whatever it was.
89.
Yeah,
whatever it was.
89.
80,
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was low on the 88.7.
And guys found out they're going on the air like that.
Yeah.
So that was definitely in the back of my mind. But this has
Sports
been
squawk.
this has been everything that's been promised and
more.
And more.
Yeah, and I just want to give a quick shout out. I don't know if I ever told this story on the air. Probably have, but I really was hoping to meet Elliot Friedman at the draft.
Yeah.
Because I need to, I don't think I'd be sitting here without him, because the day that the Kyle Beach stuff broke, the investigation came out and we learned everything, and Kyle Beach had that great interview with TSN. I was like you. I was done. I was like, what? Like, how did this get through everybody? And like, I don't want to spend much energy talking about this team anymore. Like, everything about that was gross and it hurt. And I put something out on Twitter, and then I get a DM from Elliot Friedman saying, hey, here's my number. Give me a call if you got a chance. And I'm like, this isn't real. But no, that was back when blue check marks actually meant something.
Yeah.
So I was able to quickly verify it was a real one. And I call this number, and voice picks up on the other line. No doubt, that's Elliot Friedman. You know his voice. And he's just like, hey, I saw your Twitter note. Someone brought to my attention. And he literally sat there on a whatever night of the week it was, 11 o'clock at night, so past midnight Toronto time, and talked to me for like 10 minutes just because he was like, hey, we need people like you that are passionate about this. He's like, I'm doubting myself too. I'm one of these people that ignored it for 10 years. We all got to kind of come together. And that just like inspired me. And then 5 months later, here we are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's the hockey world is a very small community, but they definitely have your back when you need it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, Sarah, what else we got?
I know I have to almost shed a tear back
Do you want
here.
to share your story, Sarah?
Well, mine's super short. This is the first job I had post college, and the fact that I was able to have a job lined up after graduation was phenomenal. And having this job has not only made my resume look awesome, but it's connected me to so many people in this industry, and especially as a woman too. It's hard to get my foot in the door.
Yeah.
And Jake was the one who reached out to me when I was in second semester of college, and so he called me and was talking about it. I flew in and interviewed and blah blah blah, and then I've learned so much here, and I love coming in. Everyone here who works here is awesome, and there's so much respect for everybody, and yeah, it's a very cool place to work at, especially being young. And I know we have interns this year too, and I keep telling them, I'm like, this is the best internship you will have. And it's laid back, you're gonna learn a ton, and it's a great experience, and you're gonna network like crazy. And it's just such a good experience, and it's awesome.
There's
for
also
all
the
ages.
the element of it being a startup and the bond that we all form of it's one thing if you join an established corporation. It's another thing as you come into something where we're all kind of fighting for the same thing to make this work and make it take off. Everybody's on the same page, and everybody really wants this to succeed, and we all love it. And it is like a kind of a family here. And I'll just say for you, Sarah, as someone on this side of the production side, for the first time in my career, when you are sitting in that chair, I feel very confident. And
Good.
I know the show is going to be handled well, and I know everything's under control. And that as a host is the most valuable thing. So thank you for everything you do.
We can thank Lawrence for that too. He trained me
Sure,
in those
yeah.
early days. Yeah, no.
Well, we trust you more than Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Especially
No.
when he's had some of that Vietnam coffee.
Vietnamese
Oh my
coffee.
God, he goes
Five,
crazy during
Bouncing
that.
off the
Kool-Aid,
walls.
man.
But yeah, no, appreciate
right.
it. Honestly, yeah, CHGO
Love
is
Fest on
great.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
Good
sorry.
question, Michael.
I'm gonna start hugging
Yeah, that-
people on the way back to my
Appreciate it.
car.
Say I'm emotional now. All right. The
All
next
right.
question is from Nathan. Can you guys possibly see Tyler Johnson traded at the trade deadline to bring back assists as he is on his final year of his contract?
Yes.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$5 million
Yeah.
bucks at the end of by the time the deadline runs around, it'll be pocket change. The Hawks can eat half of it to make it work.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
They've got 2 retention slots still left. So, you know,
imagine one of them will be maybe Corey Perry or Nick Foligno.
or Tyler Johnson.
Tyler
So,
Johnson could be a candidate. Yeah. He's also a guy that I could see sticking around because he can, when he's been healthy, he's been effective.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that I think now has been here for a little while, has some pull in the locker room as far as, a guy who's been there before, been a cup champion, 2-time cup champion, had a long career already. He's a guy that's definitely worth keeping around, I think, for a guy, especially for a guy like Connor Bedard. Like Tyler Johnson's a guy who had to, learn to kind of change his game as his career went on. He was, a high point producer, skill guy early on, had to kind of fall back into a lesser production role, but still find his way in the NHL and do it as a guy who's undersized. Like, I think, it's not a sexy name to say Tyler Johnson is mentoring Connor Bedard, but there's something he can learn from him.
There was a 5-year period there where Tyler Johnson was a damn good hockey. He was Braden Point before Braden Point.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was one of the Lightning's best players for a few years.
That 2015 Cup run, he was Stamkos and Johnson were the top 2 producers, and then he got shuffled down the lineup as they got some more talent there. But yeah, I think he's definitely a guy that they could trade, but I don't think he's a guy they trade for the sake of trading him.
I also wouldn't hate if they brought him back on like a 2-year extension.
No, I think he fits
Yeah.
that team. You need those. You're building a culture, and he's one of those guys that have laid the foundation of that culture. So let him stick around and reap the benefits from it for a little
Depending
bit.
on health. If he has another year where he's, missing
lot of
30,
injuries
40%
and
of the
something,
games, then you probably want to spend that money elsewhere, but
Yeah.
I like him a lot. All right.
All right. From Windy City Hawkeye, who I know is he's in the comment section today as
Yes,
well.
a loyal loyalist.
Could we see the Blackhawks rotate the third A this season by giving it to a different player each month, like what we saw in 07-08 when there wasn't a captain? But this season have 2 full-time A's in Murphy and Jones.
Yeah,
I think all that stuff's sort of on the table. Like the home and the road captain is something they've done before.
yeah.
Home and away,
Alternate
different-
captain.
Speaking of Tyler Johnson, he was part of that rotation. I feel like in years prior with other teams, we've seen them not name a captain but have like 5 alternate captains. I know only 2 or 3 if you don't have a captain can wear a letter for each game, but I feel like that could be a possibility where the Blackhawks don't name a captain, but here's Connor Murphy, Tyler Johnson, Seth Jones. Who else would fit that bill? Jared Tenorti wore a letter last year.
Yeah, occasionally.
So
Is that in the Remember When file?
we might as well put it there. Jared Tenorti is a guy like that.
You can put
I
a
would
letter
Taylor
on
Hall,
Foligno.
Nick
I was
Foligno.
going to say Hall, Foligno, Perry. You could put a letter on
Yeah.
all of them, and it wouldn't bother me at all because those are guys that fit that kind of role. Maybe in the last few games of in March and April, Connor Bedard's wearing one. Who knows? Like,
Yeah.
I feel 99.99% confident that they will not name a captain.
If they do, it's Bedard.
until next season. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
They're not going to do it before this season. You can't do that.
knowing Luke Richardson, he'll leave it up to the players. He'll leave it up to the room.
Yeah.
What do you guys want to do with this?
Yeah.
And he'll go with that.
He said exactly that at development camp as far
Yeah.
as naming a captain. So
It's not his call. He's going to leave it up to the players,
Yeah.
which is where it should be.
All right.
All right, the last one, Matt Buss.
Matt
Best
Buss.
roads, stadium / town to catch a Hawks game.
I haven't been to all of them like many of our fellow beat writers have.
I have not been to many.
I've been to maybe 8 or 9 road cities.
I'm trying to, if I can go top of my head. I've been to Columbus.
Been to Columbus. I sat right in
Tampa.
front of the cannon. I will never go back.
Toronto, Boston, Rangers. I was at the Joe, but not Little Caesars.
I was at the Joe.
I've been to whatever St. Louis's crap hole is
I've
called.
been there. It's whatever Enterprise Center.
So whatever
it is this year.
Enterprise? Yeah.
I would
It was the
say
Savvis Center the last time I was there.
go see a game in Canada because it's just a different feel all around. It's an event.
Yeah.
You know, like you walk up to Wrigley Field on a game day and it's an event. That's how hockey is in Canada.
My two favorite road destinations for hockey games, one is because of the arena and one is just because of the overall. The best road arena I've ever been in is the Excel Center in St. Paul.
Oh, yeah.
I want to
Awesome
go there
hockey
really
facility.
badly.
Heard that many times. yeah.
Great. And you've got Tom Reed's hockey bar right across the street. Tom Reed. Tom Reed is a former Blackhawk, Minnesota North Star. He's their radio color commentator. You could see his first NHL contract with the Blackhawks. He's got it framed. It's right there on the wall, so you can read. He once told me that because you had to pay for like your own broken sticks and everything back then, and he was late for a few flights, that by the end of the season he owed the Blackhawks like $17. He paid the Blackhawks for his first year.
There's a lot of stories. When I was writing my book, there were a lot of stories about that. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Jack O'Callahan. No, which 1980 Olympic team?
Jack O'Callahan.
Jack
was the one that
O'Callahan,
played
yeah.
for
Yeah, okay, that's who it was. I guess they gave him like a Blackhawks jacket to wear at the press conference, and then it was over, and they're like, "Give the jacket back." It's like, really? But Billy Ray, the coach, would every Christmas would buy the player skates. That was like his thing.
That's awesome.
So,
But the XL Center is fantastic. What I love about it is their standing room only seats are behind the last row of the 100 level.
oh,
that's
sweet.
You're
awesome.
not, because it's weird when you walk in. It's like this huge concourse, and then the rink is below you. So you like walk to the edge of the concourse, and and standing room only is also assigned there. Like they have like bar tops behind the last row of the 100 level, and they have numbers on it, and you get assigned your standing room only. So you're literally just like hanging out in the concourse watching the game.
That's sick.
It's a lot of cool. And my other destination I recommend for everybody, the arena is not great, but got to go to Nashville.
Nashville's fun.
Nashville is just such
The
a fun
fans are
town.
idiots,
It doesn't
but-
even have to be for a Hawks game. Just go
Well,
there
they
for
won't
a
let
game.
you in if it's a Hawks game.
Yeah, they let in a lot for the draft.
Yeah.
They're having issues keeping the red out on draft night.
Yeah.
But it's a great town if you love music, if you love beer, if you love barbecue. Even if you're not there for a hockey game at all, just go and hang out on Broadway for a couple of nights. You'll have a blast.
Yeah, it's a great time. That's for sure. All right. Well, thanks for all the great questions. I mean, we got a ton of them. Needed 2 shows to get to all of them, but a couple longer form ones. So we appreciate that. We're going to do it every Monday, and if there's anything left on Tuesday, we'll get to them. That's for sure.
Leftovers Tuesday.
Couple things. So we're not done yet. Stick around. I want to remind everybody that the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve by helping manage energy usage and lower energy bills now and into the future.
Yep. ComEd offers a wide variety of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across their territory. ComEd also offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities, such as for HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes.
Tell me more, Mario.
I will tell you more. An authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. These can be done in person or virtually and last approximately 2 hours. Within 3 to 4 weeks, customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects that they can start working on immediately. Each recommendation will include estimated energy savings, cost savings, project costs, potential incentives, and simple payback. So if you own a business, do not wait. Get started saving money and energy, also known as Monergy, today. For energy saving tips, lighting incentives, or to schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz.
Did you say ComEd.com/poweringbiz?
ComEd.com/poweringbiz is what I said. Schedule
right.
your appointments today.
Yep, going to need that energy efficiency as everybody is jacking up the AC for the next couple of months.
Yes.
But when you're leaving the house from the cold comfort of your air conditioning, you're going to need some gear built to last in order to take on the sun, and that's where our friends at Shady Rays has you covered for this warm summer that lies ahead of us with their premium polarized shades that come at a very affordable price. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've ever worn, but I say they're better than any of those expensive pairs. Durable frames and extremely clear optics, perfect for any and all outdoor adventures. That's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every single pair of sunglasses that's shipped is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair even right out of the box, they told us they're going to send you a brand new pair. Excuse me, no questions asked. You can wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back much long after you purchase. Together with their customers, Shady Rays is providing a much needed support to their nonprofit partners across the U.S. through Shady Rays Impact, from building playsets for pediatric cancer patients to providing young adults with MS the outdoor adventure of a lifetime. Shady Rays is making an impact in your community and others like it now and for years to come. And if you don't love your Shady Rays, but you're going to, trust me, exchange them for a brand new pair, or you can return your pair for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. And exclusively for our wonderful, gorgeous, lovely, nice, I'm kissing up to you guys, CHGO listeners, Shady Rays is giving you their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use the promo code CHGO for 50% off 2 or more pairs of their polarized sunglasses, so you can finally try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
You know what's not rated 5 stars? The Cubs or the White Sox.
Oof.
However,
maybe combined.
CHGO events are 5 stars. Going to the ballpark on a hot summer night, 5 stars.
Yep.
CHGO Sports is taking over Guaranteed Rate Field and Wrigley Field for the 2023 Crosstown Series. Join the CHGO White Sox and Cubs cruise July 26th. Cubs at White Sox, Guaranteed Rate Field. 7:10 p.m. is the first pitch. We'll be in Section 529. There's a pregame meetup at 4 p.m. at the Carrig Pub. That's on 147th Street in Oak Forest, where we'll be shuttled to and from Guaranteed Rate Field. Then the Wrigley version, August 16th, White Sox at Cubs, 7:05 p.m. Pregame meetup at 5:30 at Bar TBD, one of my favorite Wrigleyville bars. Each ticket purchase comes with the new CHGO baseball shirt, south side or north side, based on preference. Shirt and size chosen at checkout and order confirmation. Let's see which fan base is more diehard and sells out the takeover first. Go to allchgo.com. Again, go to that events page to get your CHGO Crosstown Series takeover tickets. And if you're a diehard, go to that diehard tab, and you'll be able to find your tickets in there as well. So we got the golf outing coming up. That's coming up in August. That's August 25th. And then we've got the 2 Crosstown takeovers, July 26th and August 16th, allchgo.com. And if you want to go to 2 or 3 of these events and you're not a diehard yet, that diehard membership's pretty much going to pay for itself when you go to a couple events. So check it out, allchgo.com. We hope to see you at all or several of those events.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time.
Can't wait. All right, we're going to be back tomorrow at 2 with what?
Stuff and things.
I don't know. Something will happen.
Yeah.
We got a plan.
Maybe.
We know what we're doing. If not, we'll do the color draft.
Very
What's your favorite
carefully
color?
planned
we'll
out.
have a most valuable primate watch along.
Yeah, we can do that. That's fun. That's fun. We can do that.
Or we could just sit for an hour staring at Marion Host's abs.
We could do
We could
the
do
Marion
that too.
Hossa ab show.
We did that for
Sarah
a little bit
agrees.
yesterday.
She's in on that one.
Well, I saw that random photo that popped up, and I had it in preview mode, so I was looking, I was like, damn. I was like,
Yeah.
Ooh, what is that?
That's everybody did that. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's Hossa. That's why he's a
It's a
demigod.
proper reaction.
That should be the cover of NHL 24, by the way. Put it out there now.
And 25 and 26.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
27.
All right, we'll talk to everybody tomorrow at 2. Again, thanks to Sarah for running the show. Talk to you tomorrow on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.